This is Bob Maloney from My MMA News, and I have the pleasure of talking to Branden Hudson today. Branden is the owner and head trainer and coach at SBY MMA and Fitness in Salisbury, Maryland. Branden's got a fight coming up, main event, the first fight ever for a championship fight at Stellar Fights 42 for the 165-pound title, and he's taking on his somebody who he's seen fight before. But before we even talk about that fight, Branden, welcome. You're cutting weight. Thanks for giving me some of your time. How are you feeling?
Feel great, brother. Just going through the motions, man. So feeling real good, man. Weight cuts. I'm not. If anybody says a weight cut's easy, they're a liar. But I mean, I wouldn't say it's probably one of the easiest ones I've had, man. It's I stay in shape. I stay at it. I constantly grind. So very lean, feeling good, a little hungry, a little thirsty, but, nothing too detrimental. I'll definitely be on that scale, 165 tomorrow night.
Before we talk about your fight, let's talk about, how you got to this point in your career. What was it for you that led you to, into the mixed martial arts and fitness field and opening your own school and, wanting to get into and getting into the cage and fighting people and trying to choke them out? What was your path here?
Well, as a kid, man, I always wanted to box. I'm 38 years old, so we didn't really have MMA real prevalent on the scene back when I was a kid. Man, I don't know if I was just, too chicken shit to go in there, or if, mom wouldn't let me, or what it was. But, I also, I love that kind of scene. So I grew up an athlete, man, played football, basketball, baseball, that stuff. And, I was no stranger to the streets, and stuff like that. So, grew up pretty poor and grew up in, some tough neighborhoods and stuff, man. So, I learned how to use my hands real quick and bob and weave. And then, after high school, man, I just kind of, got involved in some stuff maybe that, shouldn't have been involved in or whatever. And, just kind of snowballed, man, and, gained some weight. And, I got married back when I was like 27, 28, and I saw the wedding video, and I was like, I just couldn't believe how big I got. So I was like, dude, I'm going to go ahead and try to lose some weight. So I tried the gym thing, pump the iron, doing all that stuff. And just wasn't my thing, man. I like intensity. I like to do that. I couldn't really click, couldn't get my thing, couldn't get off. My buddy had a punching bag, man, while we were working out his house. And, I just kind of brought back some of them old school, back in the day feels, you know what I mean? And then I had another buddy, man, who was doing a cage fight. Man, in our area, man, in Salisbury, we didn't have a whole lot of knowledge or exposure to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, to real MMA and stuff like that, man. There's a lot of martial artists and boxers, a handful of wrestlers, but it really wasn't nothing like it is now. So we were training out of the back of sheds, man. My buddy was doing MMA. He wanted me to come over and train. I was like, dude, I just want to lose weight. I want to look like a fighter. I don't have any interest in getting in there, nothing like that. I'm an old guy. I was 30 at the time. And dude, I just, I always loved the sport, and, I just kind of fell in love with it. And 2 months later, I had to try it out, man. So, I lost a very controversial fight, decision. I didn't get my ass kicked like I saw on TV, you know what I mean? So, I had to try it a couple times. I kind of went the hard-headed route, man. I didn't really, like I said, we didn't know. So, I told Brad from the jump, give me, I don't have a lot of time. Looking back now, I should took a little slower, but, I always fought Brad's top competitors, man. I always fought, number one contenders or champions or future champions and stuff like that. Took a couple L's early, and got my first win. I was 0-2 and, I was going into this fight. Delaware still hadn't sanctioned ground and pound or head kicks or anything like that. So it was basically like a wrestler jiu-jitsu match on the ground, and I've always been, the top draw for Stellar Fights. No one's ever sold any more tickets than I've sold every single fight. So, all my people would come out and see this wrestling match, and they knew I had the hands. Of course, I didn't have very good ground game as well. But the third fight was a pivotal fight for me, man, because during that camp, if anybody knows how camp is, you're in tune to your senses, you're in tune to everything, man. You're getting everything wrong for, 8 to 12 weeks. You're getting your ass kicked every day, vigorous diet, vigorous training. And about 4 weeks into my camp, I got a phone call that one of my friends, she went to wake up her 9-year-old daughter, and she had passed in her sleep. And at that point, I had a kid as well, so two daughters as well, the same age. So man, it shook me to the core. And just a series of events, man. Like they had passed the law for ground and pound, and so that changed the game. You know what I mean? And we went into that fight, and somehow, some way, shape, or form, we were able to get her to come to the fight. And show up. And Brad, I took all my earnings and I asked Brad if he would match me to go ahead and donate, for the calls and stuff like that. And without a doubt, Brad did it. Brad's always looked out for the community over at Stellar Fights. And I won. So, it was just it was a turning point for me because, I went from this, guy just kind of, fighting and training and just not really knowing his place in life to being able to, help somebody and impact. And it kind of turned into like a little hometown Rocky hero type thing. And, I had a lot of support. And it just snowballed, man. Like, I ended up fighting for the interim title and a few fights later. And then, man, it kind of, I got hurt one fight. It was kind of, I was fighting for the wrong reasons at that point. I was fighting to get the belt instead of fighting for the purpose of the people and for the purpose of the movement. You know what I mean? It was never in my cards to go pro. It was never in my cards to go to the UFC, man. I was just, I'm just trying to help my town out and help out the people that support me and love me. And we really needed some wins in this area, man. We were plagued by a lot of crime, plagued by a lot of bad stuff, and I just felt like, my little platform was able to make a difference.
That's
And
awesome, man.
I stopped fighting, man, and then ended up a series of events led me to training fighters and all that, and I was done, and my coach was like, dude, you're getting too good, man. You got to try it again. We can't end on that note. And I'm like, well, man, I hemmed and hawed. I was like, all right. Came back and ended up winning the 170 pound strap, the welterweight title, about a year and a half ago. And just became the first Salisbury born MMA champion. So, and then this, I own my own school and a couple other things happened. We're over at this 60,000 square foot facility called Pure Fitness. We have our own setup. I have multiple disciplines in there. We have a great Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu program, great boxing program, kickboxing, karate. Just a lot going on right now, man. So I'm wearing many hats at times. You know what I mean? This past weekend, I just moved my whole operation upstairs. So, it's like, oh yeah, and I got a big cage fight here next weekend. So, but I'm stoked, man. I'm ready. It's I love helping people, man. I love the passion, and the drive. I was gonna be done after the last fight when I fought for the strap, right off in the sunset. But Brad was actually sold me his cage, and I really couldn't afford what he wanted, so he made me a deal, an offer I couldn't refuse. Old Uncle Brad, and told me if I fought for him one more time, he'd give it to me at the agreed price. I needed it for my school, so here again, I'm fighting again for my town. I'm fighting again for my school. It's more than just me getting in there trying to prove how big my balls are, man. I've got about 175 people that are coming up there this weekend that are going to support me. I sold 10 tables, so it's us, man. It isn't just me. So I don't take the glory, man. I got great coaches. I got great people around me. It's just, I just go to war, brother. I just get in there and I just, we just do what we do. And I'm not all about the talk or all about the games, man. I'm all about the bloodbath. So, however this fight goes, we're going to go,
Oh man, listen, speaking of your coaches, who would you consider, if you had a question or maybe you needed a mentor, or you had something that you needed to find out about, your game or a technique or something? Who do you have any go-to guys? Who's you have a coach that you trust in?
Man, I trust all my coaches, man. I've surrounded myself with some really good people. So my head coach is Eric Evans. He's been in the game. He's been a martial artist for over 30 years. He's always, went out to go and broaden his knowledge. You know what I mean? He started off in a karate base. And it's karate is just his foundation, man. I mean, he's a true fighter. He made me a champion. He's been with me since the beginning. He knows, you got that click with a coach where, you know, they just know what you do and what it is and how you respond and stuff like that. He's a savage. I hate his guts, but I love him to death. So yeah, he's my head coach, man. We have DeMont Giddens, who is he's my boxing coach, man. He came along in the scene about a year and a half ago. We clicked very well. He's so technical. He's so you know, next level, outside the box thinker. I got he's from Down Under Boxing Gym. Came overboard with us. We got Rick Desper, he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt from Ground Control. He moseyed on in our gym one day, moved in the area. Again, another savage, man. He helped me out a lot. You know, I got all kinds of MMA. He's got 10 MMA pro fight experience. So, you know, that's my guy for that. He was one of the originators from Ground Control, man. So he's got a lot of knowledge there. We got Miles Moffitt, who owns Southside Jiu-Jitsu. He's a part of our program. You know, he's a pioneer of the jiu-jitsu, you know, program in the area, man. He's been doing it for over 20 years. Him and Mike Wilson, you know what I mean? They both just great technical ground game, you know, real good jiu-jitsu practitioners and teachers. We've got Ralph Nichols, another boxing coach, man. He's your energy guy. You know, he's the pusher, man. He's from Down Under. He pushes us to our limits, you know what I mean? Makes us, you know, wish we weren't there some days, you know. And then we got our wrestling coach, you know, Paul Gonzalez. He's new on board, and our strength and conditioning coach, Aaron Segato. So man, I've got a slew of guys that are solely dedicated to pushing me, man. But you know, my three corner guys are going to be Eric, Rick, and DeMont. You know, they've been with me the longest. They know me, they know my game, and that can cover all the assets of the game. So I don't have a go-to, man. I go to everybody I can. I suck up as much knowledge. I try it, I apply it, and I take what I can out from it and go from there.
Well, how do you see this fight? Listen, Ryan Courtney, he's a tough dude, you know, military veteran. So, you know, you're getting in there with a grunt. He's going to bring it 100%. You got a really big height and reach advantage on him. You know, he's been training jiu-jitsu for quite a while. So I'm assuming you probably, you know, when you're looking at this, you're saying, well, his game plan is he's going to want to try to, you know, get me to the ground and submit me. But with that huge reach, so give me a little, you know, scouting report on the fight. How do you see this fight going?
Man, Ryan's tough, man. You know, I've watched a couple of his fights. You know what I mean? I'm not the guy to watch too many fights, man. I let my coaches do that. I watch them a couple times, pick a couple things that I see, and then you know, I don't pay attention to that stuff, man. It's the same game plan with me. Everybody does the same thing. You know, they try to take me down. You know, I think I got a very underrated jiu-jitsu game. And it's different when they find out. He's tough, man. I appreciate what he's done for our country. You know what I mean? I like. You know, I like the way he fights. He comes forward. You know, I'm training for the bloodbath, man. You know what I mean? So, you know, wherever this fight goes, I feel extremely confident. You know, a lot of people try to take me down and they want to, you know, beat me up and submit me. And, you know, I've had my lumps early in my career, but yeah, they find out it's just a different animal they're getting in the cage with, man. You know, I mean, one thing for sure is he's got to go 5 rounds, and I go 5 rounds. You know, I've been to that 5-round war. You know, my fights are always dog fights. So, you know, I feel like, you know, I still feel like people are underestimating me. They're looking at me as the underdog, and I've always loved that. You know, the people that support me come up there from Salisbury, all 300, 150, 200, however many I sell. They're the ones that believe in me. My coaches are the ones that believe in me and know that, you know, I'm not the underdog. I never feel like I am. So I love that people that, you know, I love always be counted out because, man, that's been my whole life is people count me out. And then, you know, here we are. So, yeah, I mean, I'm training for the bloodbath. So, you know, obviously, you know, when they stand, you know, if they stand with me, that's where I would love to take it. Let's see. I'm an old Irish guy, bro. Let's see who's got the toughest chin. But I'm ready for this fight wherever it goes, man. We go to the ground, you know, I'm ready for that, you know, wherever it takes it. He's going to be in there with a savage. So, you know, he's going to have to bring his A game.
I'm excited, man, to see you do your thing, Ryan. Listen, before we roll, give some shout outs or some love to some sponsors that you have. Or listen, I know you're getting besides the support in the cage, I know you're getting some moral support. Give out some love, man. I know you have a lot of people supporting you before we roll.
Yeah, man. You know, I want to thank God first of all, man. You know, I don't, you know, whoever you pray to, that's on you. I pray to Jesus Christ. So, you know, he's just been. All glory to God, man. I can't even give him enough credit on here. I appreciate my town, man, my folks, my family, my girlfriend, man, my kids, you know, everybody who's who's just been with me through this, this 8-9 year ride, man. It's great. So I thank all the people that support me and buy the tickets and buy the t-shirts and come to the fights and come to the classes. Big shout out to my sponsors, Residential Electric, Peninsula Holistics, Pohanka, the Maryland Delaware Group of Long and Foster, Cafe Italiano, Chesapeake Heating and Air, Chesapeake Paving, SBY Coffee, and Rosie's Cleaning Service. Man, without these sponsors, man, we really wouldn't be able to do what we do, man. They keep the lights on, they keep the coaches paid. They keep me going. So appreciate them, or thanks to them. Again, thanks to my coaches, man. Coach Eric Evans, DeMont Giddens, Rick Desper, Miles Moffitt, Mike Wilson, Ralph Nichols, Aaron Segato, and Paul Gonzalez. I'm the low man on the totem pole at the school, brother. It might be my school and all that, but man, I'm the low man. These guys are light years ahead of us. We're looking forward to putting Salisbury on the map, man. It's been a long grind, and we're definitely ready to make a noise. I got my young prodigy Taylor McMahan coming up. Got a couple other guys in the gym that fight, and people know that we throw down, man. We're not here to train for the quick knockout. We're not here we're here to train for the bloodbath, So when you get in that cage, just know it's going to be a war, and know that we're bringing the heat. I respect all the gyms out there. I respect every fighter, So I don't have to get in there and talk that crap. We got the support, but we love to bang, man. We love to fight. So we look forward to Saturday night, man, and just don't blink. Get your popcorn.
I can't wait, Ryan. Best of luck to you coming up, Ryan. I'm sorry. Ryan, I'm sorry about that. I'm talking to Branden Hudson here. Now I'm probably going to get myself a little left hook to my head for that. But Branden is doing his thing. Branden, it was a pleasure talking to you for the first time. It's a great story. I think it's a story of how mixed martial arts, you've turned to mixed martial arts and made your life into something really great. You're community involved, man. And guys like you, man, we need more people like you in the community and in the world. And listen, I wish you nothing but the best in the main event coming up at Stellar Fights, Harrington, Delaware. Brad Dalton always puts on a good show. He's good people. He takes care of his fighters like you told me, and it was a pleasure talking to you. Best of luck with your final weight cut preparations, my man. Get yourself hydrated afterwards, and I will see you cage side. Branden Hudson, man, what a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Oh, yeah, by the way, thank you, Brad Dalton, man. I don't think he gets enough credit, but Brad's a stand-up character, man. He puts on a great show. He puts his heart and soul into it. He's been very supportive of me throughout my career, so big shout out to him as well. Thank you, brother.
Beautiful.